This is Kerith Strano Taylor. She is running for Congress in Pennsylvania's 5th Congressional District. Kerith is an advocate for children's rights, president of her local school board, a successful family law attorney, and a proud mother of 2, and is steadily making a previously Republican stronghold a competitive race. And her support is only growing. In a time when Congress is broken, the PA5 is facing serious economic crises, and Pennsylvania risks having 0 female representation in Congress. Kerith is exactly what we need in Washington, and what Washington needs from us.
So I've been traveling a lot. As you know, the 5th Congressional District covers all or part of 16 counties. We are one of the largest congressional districts east of the Mississippi, and we go from Erie to Tioga, south to Huntington, west to Venango, back north, and everything in between. And we have conversations that differ. Because we're such a big district, we have a relatively liberal arm down in the State College area, right? We have really strong union presence up in Erie and Warren and Venango. We have a more conservative space in the middle, but I can tell you what everyone agrees on. Everyone. They think it's broken. Our government is broken. Washington is broken. And when I ask them what they mean by that, they are clear and they never differ. You know what they say to me? We've been bought. Our government has been bought. And it makes them angry. They tell me that they believe that Wall Street is driving our banking policy. They believe that GE and Shell and BP are driving our energy policy. And Monsanto and ADM, they're driving our ag policy. And you know what they say to me? Where are our lobbyists? They have lobbyists pouring millions of dollars into our system, drafting legislation that suits them. What about me? And it's not just Democrats. This is Republicans too, asking me the question. And every time they ask me, the answer's the same. We are supposed to have lobbyists. They were supposed to be the people we elect to Congress. It saddens me to share this, but it comes straight from the source. I had the opportunity to spend an hour with Glenn Thompson last November, and those words came out of his mouth. When challenging him on the shutdown, he said, "What, the shutdown? It was a joke." I have yet to find a single person who thought that was funny. In Brookville, I sit as the president of my school board, and I was just informed by the president of our union that we made recent history in Brookville. I had no idea why, I had no idea how until he shared this with me, and it made me very proud, so I'm going to share it with you today. We settled a contract, and in our district, we had 2 strikes in 5 years. Really tore our community apart. When I came onto the board, we settled 2 contracts with unanimous votes, but we still had the teacher's contract to do. And we worked hard since January. We voted first, which is not something that we typically do. And the teachers approved our contract on Friday at 4 o'clock, and I get the phone call. And the president of my union says to me, "Kerith, we made recent history today." I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "We haven't settled a contract without a work stoppage in 25 years. I had no idea I was quite as good at negotiation until my judge asked me to start helping people who don't have lawyers negotiate over custody of their kids. We used to have a free legal service that helped these people, but when funding got cut, thank you, Governor Corbett, we had people coming into our system asked to negotiate. They had no idea how. So they stood in the hallway screaming at each other. Because that's what happens when you run the risk of losing your kids, right? My judge asked me if I would help these people, and of course I said yes. And we sit down, and the first thing I asked them was whether they loved their children more than they hate their ex. The room gets awfully quiet at that moment, but they always tell me yes, every single time. And 85% of those families walk out with an order in an hour, making sure that no one's pulling on their arms on Christmas Day over where those kiddos are going to go spend their evening, right? 85% of those cases get settled in an hour. And it occurred to me, I would challenge every one of our elected officials in Washington whether they love our country more than they hate the other side. And I know every single person in this room, we love our country more than we hate just about anything. And the people across the 5th District feel the same way. And what they're asking for is someone to step forward and say, we do too. And we're willing to go to Washington and actually do the work that helps the folks sitting in this room. And to be very clear, it helps the folks sitting at the Republican table too. Because it's about doing the work for the people of the 5th Congressional District. It's not about doing the work for the folks from oil and gas. or the folks from all the money that's pouring into Glenn Thompson's coffers. And to be clear, less than 10% of his money comes from people like you. 98% of my money comes from people like you. So when I'm going to Washington is to do the work for us, because it's about damn time. I'm Kerith Strano, and I approve this message.